African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing on the progress of the special military operation as of November 3, 2025. In response to terrorist attacks by Ukraine on civilian facilities on Russian territory last night, the Russian armed forces delivered a group strike with high-precision long-range weapons of ground and air-based platforms, including hypersonic aeroballistic Kinzhal missiles, as well as strike UAVs on military-industrial enterprises, gas energy complex facilities of Ukraine that supported their operation, military airfield infrastructure, and the repair base for Ukrainian armed forces weapons and military equipment. The strike objectives were achieved. All designated targets were hit. Units of the North Group of troops inflicted damage on formations of 3 mechanized, rifle, airborne assault brigades, an assault regiment of the Ukrainian armed forces, and 3 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements Andriivka, Pavlovka, Khotin, Korchakovka, Rogozno, Stary Verki, and Sadki in the Sumy region. On the Kharkiv direction, damage was inflicted on units of a mechanized brigade of the Ukrainian armed forces and a territorial defense brigade in the area of the settlement Volchansk, Kharkiv region. The Ukrainian armed forces lost more than 240 servicemen, 2 combat armored vehicles, 23 cars, and 5 field artillery pieces. A radio-electronic warfare station, for ammunition depots, and a material resources depot were destroyed. Units of the West Group of troops improved their tactical position. They inflicted damage on personnel and equipment of 5 mechanized, airmobile, 2 assault brigades of the Ukrainian armed forces, and 3 National Guard brigades in the areas of the settlements Novoplatinovka, Novosergivka, Shikovka, Petropavlovka, Kurilovka in the Kharkiv region, Tatianovka, and Yampol in the DPR. In the area of the settlement Kupiansk, Kharkiv region, assault groups of the 6th Army continued the destruction of the encircled Ukrainian Armed Forces group. During urban combat, the enemy was expelled from 4 fortified positions in the industrial zone on the left bank of the Oskol River. 2 attempts were thwarted by units of the 92nd Assault Brigade and the 15th National Guard Brigade to break the encirclement ring from the settlements Nechvolodovka and Blagoditevka in the Kharkiv region. Up to 20 Ukrainian militants, 2 combat armored vehicles, and 2 pickups were destroyed. Air observation posts and mobile fire groups shot down 16 or 18 UAVs of the Ukrainian armed forces attempting to deliver ammunition and food to encircled units. In 24 hours in the area of the settlement Kupiansk, Kharkiv region, the enemy lost up to 50 servicemen, a U.S.-made M113 armored personnel carrier, a Novator armored vehicle, a Romanian-made APR-40 multiple launch rocket system launcher, 2 mortars, and 7 cars. In total, in the area of responsibility of the West Group of troops, losses of Ukrainian armed formations amounted to over 230 servicemen, 2 combat armored vehicles, 21 cars, a multiple launch rocket system launcher, and a U.S.-made 155mm M198 howitzer. 10 radio-electronic warfare stations and 6 ammunition depots were destroyed. Units of the South Group of troops took more advantageous lines and positions. They inflicted damage on formations of 4 mechanized, assault, mountain assault brigades of the Ukrainian armed forces, a Marine brigade, and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements Seversk, Slavyansk, Nikiforovka, Vasyokhovka, and Konstantinovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost up to 200 servicemen, a tank, 2 combat armored vehicles, 19 cars, and 4 field artillery pieces. 4 material resources depots and a fuel depot were destroyed. Units of the Center Troop Group improved their position along the front line. They inflicted damage on personnel and equipment of 7 mechanized, 2 rifle, airmobile, airborne assault, 2 assault brigades, 4 assault regiments of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade, a territorial defense brigade, and 2 National Guard brigades in the areas of the settlements Rodinskoye, Belitskoye, Sergivka, Volnoy, Kudlino of the Donetsk People's Republic, and Novopodgorodnoye of the Dnipropetrovsk region. In the settlement of Krasnoarmeysk, DPR, assault groups of the 2nd Army entered and secured the residential area of the Prigorodny microdistrict. The destruction of encircled Ukrainian armed forces formations continues in the areas of the railway station and industrial zone beyond the railway, as well as the clearing of Ukrainian militants from the settlements of Natovka and Rog, DPR. 10 enemy attacks were repelled in the northern and northwestern directions. Units of the East Troop Group advanced deep into the enemy's defense. They inflicted damage on formations of 2 mechanized brigades, 2 assault regiments of the Ukrainian armed forces, and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements Orestopol, Danilovka, Radisnoye of the Dnipropetrovsk region, Uspanovka, and Guliapol of the Zaporizhia region. The Ukrainian armed forces lost over 255 servicemen, a combat armored vehicle, 15 cars, 2 artillery pieces, and 3 material supply depots. For attempts to unblock the encircled Ukrainian Armed Forces group by foreign mercenaries from the so-called International Legion of Territorial Defense of Ukraine, as well as the 32nd Mechanized Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces from the area of the settlement Grishino, DPR, were thwarted. Units of the Dnieper Troop Group inflicted damage on personnel and equipment of mechanized, mountain assault brigades, 2 coastal defense brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements Orkhov, Malokataranovka, Stepnogorsk of the Zaporizhia region, Nikolskoye, and Dniprovskoye of the Kherson region. More than 70 servicemen, an infantry fighting vehicle, 15 cars, a US-made 155mm M777 howitzer, a Buk surface-to-air missile system launcher, 4 unmanned boats, 3 electronic warfare stations, 3 ammunition depots, a fuel depot, and 3 material supply depots were destroyed. Operational tactical aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops, and artillery of the Russian Armed Forces troop groups inflicted damage on storage and launch preparation sites for strike unmanned aerial vehicles, as well as temporary deployment points of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries in 148 areas. Air defense systems shot down a guided aerial bomb, a US-made HIMARS multiple launch rocket system rocket, and 365 fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the start of the special military operation, destroyed 668 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 94,732 unmanned aerial vehicles, 635 surface-to-air missile systems, 25,823 tanks and other combat armored vehicles, 1,609 multiple launch rocket system vehicles, 31,035 field artillery and mortars, 45,652 units of special military automotive equipment. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.